Hi everyone, so I'm very pleased to say that the Polestar has been repaired, which is great. The window is back in place and I've just collected the car from Volvo in Crawley. So actually the whole process of getting the window done wasn't that bad and it didn't even take that long. It's a Friday today, so I think it's like a week and 2 days. That was it to get the car recovered back to Volvo. They had to get the glass brought over from Sweden and to get the glass replaced. So that's really good. I have to say I'm pleased with that. And during that whole period of time, I was provided with a loan car from Enterprise. So that did make the process a little bit more simple. Now, I wasn't overly keen on the Volvo that they provided with me. Having a car like that with an engine and having to fill up with fuel was a bit irritating. But the truth is, it's all done now, and I'm pretty impressed with the process. The only thing that I would say that I'm finding slightly irritating over here, driving at home, sort of around this area of the window, I can hear a slight whistling noise, and that wasn't there before. So that's really, it's a little bit irritating. But I don't think it's that bad that I would necessarily want to take the car back to them to have it looked at. I think I have seen the odd complaint online about a little bit of wind noise. If I'm listening to some music, then to be fair, I can't hear it. So I think that'll just be the solution. And I'll see if it settles down. Maybe it will. I'm not so sure how these seals sort of progress over time, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Now, I'm going to just do a little bit, while I was driving home, I filmed something that I thought would be quite interesting to show in this video, and that is how the adaptive cruise control works and the pilot assist in the Polestar. So I've filmed a little bit of that in the drive home, and I'm going to show that in the next section of the video. Personally, I've found the pilot assist in the adaptive cruise control to be really good. No issues with it, really. There's a few little quirks, and once you get used to it in the car, it's absolutely fine. So here it is, the section on pilot assist and adaptive cruise control. Okay, so what I want to do in this section of the video is to demonstrate to you the adaptive cruise control and the pilot assist in the Polestar 4. So I'm just joining the motorway here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how it works and what it does when we're driving. So you can see on the display here, it's got our speed that we're going at, and the button I'm going to press to engage is this one over here. So a single push of the button will bring up the pilot assist. So that's showing that pilot assist is activated, and this little display up in the top left hand corner will show you the little symbol of the steering wheel. So what that's saying is that it's driving on its own and I don't technically have to do anything, so that's going to stay in the lane. If I double press this button, what it will do is it will change to that little speed icon. What that means is it's now holding the speed that I've selected at the moment of pushing that button. So I'm now driving the car. And I know that is something that isn't necessarily obvious when you first get the car, is that you need to double press that button in order to get it into your active cruise control, but not into the pilot assist mode. So again, I can press the X and that takes me out of that mode. And if I double press the button, it engages active cruise control, and it's at 59 miles an hour. So if I push up on the steering wheel here, it will go up by 5 mile per hour increments, so I can then press down to lower that. If I push left on the button, you can see that it will change the distance that it's going to follow the vehicle in front. It's got 3 different settings for that. So that's yeah, it's pretty good. I have no issues with the system at all. It works really well in the adaptive cruise control mode, and I'd also say that these buttons aren't too bad. They're probably a little bit better on the Volvo loan car that was given to me. It's a slightly strange button. Sometimes it's easy to mispress it and not get it quite right. So you can see now we're coming up to a little bit of traffic. So it'll be interesting to see this. So here's the 70 mile an hour speed indicator. Let's see if it picks it up. We're going into a 50. There we go. So we got 50. Now it's flashing. Now I have to be honest, this doesn't always work very well. It worked in this case, but it can be a bit glitchy. Now you might have heard those little beeps that it made at me. Those are the warnings that I've exceeded the speed limit in this particular zone. So what you can do is, if you want to turn that off, you need to be out of your active cruise control mode, driving normally, and a single press on the left of the button will engage performance mode. A single press of the top will take off the one pedal driving, and a single press of the bottom will turn off, it's a double press actually, you can see it on the screen here, you just got to get it right, will turn off that speed limit warning. Now again, those quick quick feature buttons aren't obvious when you first get the car. One of the ones I like is the left button push here that will put the car into the performance mode, which gives you better throttle response, better acceleration. I quite like driving like that. And then the one pedal drive I never really turn on and off, but this speed limit warning thing, I do tend to turn that off quite regularly because it does get it wrong. Like it's spot on this time at 40 miles an hour, but a lot of the time it'll be completely off. So again, let's try it and put the pilot assist on. So if I push the button, you can see that it didn't do anything that time, so let's push it again. There we go, it's gone into pilot assist and it's showing the steering wheel and the two yellow lines. So again, here in the middle of the display, you can see that, hopefully you can see the center of the display, but it's showing a solid line on the left and then dash lines on the right hand side, and it's showing the car that it's tracking in front. So the next feature I want to show you is is basically the lane change assist mode. That is an option to turn on and off in the menu. It is off by default, so you have to switch it on. But when you have the lane change assist on, it can technically help you to change lanes on its own, and it'll show, there you go, went solid again. But sometimes this system I don't really like. There we go. Now it's showing dash lines with a car in front. So if I indicate, what it will do is it will, in theory, change lanes for me, and I haven't done anything there. It's changed lanes. Perfect. But what it's now saying is I need to hold the steering wheel, and there you go, lanes changed, cancel. So this is a perfect example of where it goes wrong. It kind of worked to a degree, changed lanes for me, but then it came up with a lanes change cancelled. It doesn't do that all the time. Sometimes it works really well, but in the testing that I've done with the car, I actually find it very irritating. So I've been driving with the lane change assist off. I think it's a feature that sort of, I don't know, it's a little bit like it's something that you expect in a complete self-driving car, which this just isn't. So it's almost like having it's almost like a slightly irritating thing that it doesn't always work perfectly. But what I want to demonstrate a better way of doing it is to actually just engage the pilot assist like this and turn off the lane change assist in the menu, which I've just done. So now those dash lines have gone away. If I want to change lanes, what I can now do is, and I'm just going to wait for the car behind me to move past. So the car behind me has gone past. I now indicate, and it takes me out of the pilot assist mode, moves me across into the lane, and as soon as I take off the indicator and let go, it should recapture the lane. There we go, it recaptured it. So all I did was steer the car across into the lane, and I let the car capture it on its own. I find that works much better than trying to use the sort of automatic version of the lane change assist. So I'm going to do it again, just going past this truck over here. So now if I indicate, it takes me out of pilot assist, but keeps me in active cruise control. I move over, cancel the indicator, and it recaptures the lane. I think that's absolutely perfect. The reason I love this so much is the Tesla Model Y that I had before didn't do it that way. You had to engage the pilot assist mode and you'd stay in lane, and then as soon as you indicate, it would go bing bong, it would take you out of pilot assist, the equivalent in the Tesla, you'd move lane and you have to re-engage and it would go bing bong again. So you're constantly making these irritating noises trying to move between lanes, which disturbs the other people in the car, and it also reduces the volume of the music. I found that feature to be really irritating. The Polestar, as you saw, is completely silent, doesn't make any of those noises, which is really, really nice. Now, another thing I want to demonstrate is the amount of time you can go without touching the steering wheel. So let's drive a little bit. I'm close to the steering wheel, I'm just not on the steering wheel. And it's actually quite forgiving. We can probably monitor this and see how many seconds we can get away. There we go, so that the warnings come up now, keep hands on steering wheel. I don't seem to have to put much input in. I just tapped the steering wheel. It went out of pilot assist, but it was okay. It didn't do anything too drastic. Some cars I've noticed can be very, very sensitive. Now the Tesla Model Y was one of those. If you didn't have any kind of input on the steering wheel, it wasn't particularly forgiving. It would start making warning sounds at you quite early on, and you'd have to put quite a heavy input into the car to clear away that kind of warning. So yeah, like, I mean, I'm not saying the Tesla wasn't good at what it does. It absolutely was, but the Polestar gets criticism for some of its software issues But actually, there's certain things that I think it does better. The much more silent version of the pilot assist I do prefer. The one downside to it though is if it does disengage without you knowing, like randomly decide to throw itself out of pilot assist, it doesn't make a very obvious warning sound. It's just a visual thing that you see. That's something that I suppose you could miss, so you need to be a little bit aware of it not making any kind of audio warning when it drops out. Okay, so I hope you found that to be helpful, that little overview of how the system works. As I said during the video, it's really good. I have no personal issues with the way it works. The double push of the button took me a little while to figure out how to get the adaptive cruise control working and not the pilot assist, because you don't always want that to be active. The road sign recognition, as I mentioned, is not very good. That is one of the the weaker features in the car. I don't understand why they don't use a database a bit more like Google Maps or Waze use, because that seems to be very accurate. This system seems to rely entirely on road signs, and it gets them wrong a lot of the time. Sometimes it'll come up with 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour in areas that definitely do not require driving at such slow speeds. Sometimes it gets it right. In the video it was absolutely fine, but I'd say it's 50-50. Now the good thing is, as I showed, you can easily turn off the audio warnings for that system, and if you want, you can also deactivate some of those things in the menu. So I'll just go through a couple of those settings now in the menu so you can see how those work out. So in the menu system, you have a bunch of pages up here. You've got shortcuts, and on the shortcuts, I've configured mine so I can turn the performance mode on and off and the speed limit warning on and off, which is nice to have. One pedal drive is down there as well. But then if you go over to the assist page, this is what I was talking about in the video, where you've got pilot assist that you can turn on and off. That defaults to off anytime I get into the car, so I have to turn that on if I want it. And then we've got these other systems here: road sign information options, new speed limit audio feedback we can turn on or off, and then we've also got the speed limit warning, which we can turn off in this page. Other things that some people don't like sometimes might be the lane keeping aid. So you've got lane keeping aid is on by default whenever you start the car. I leave it on personally, but I know some people find it irritating. And then you've also got this driver alert, which is on by default. I can't clear that now, but I think if I go into reverse, yeah, there we go, it would allow me to clear it. So I'm just gonna, yeah, you'll be able to turn this on or off. Driver alert is always on by default, and I think it works okay, but sometimes it can be a bit over enthusiastic. And then we've got the speed limit warning option to turn on and off within this menu page. So there, that's an overview of what you can change on the assist page on the screen. The driver alert that I mentioned there actually is quite an interesting thing. So you've got this driver monitoring camera. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. It's over there. There may be other cameras. I'm not entirely sure where they would be in the car, but yeah, that system is, I'd say it's probably as good as the Tesla one. The Tesla one was not great. It would sometimes tell me that I was drifting off when I wasn't. But maybe it was detecting something that was a little bit of an anomaly. So maybe it's not wrong. In this car, I feel personally it's been the same for me. It sometimes thinks that I'm not paying attention when it's got it slightly wrong. Perhaps the sunglasses on, it's not quite right either. But I think, from what I understand, it is a legal requirement with these newer vehicles to have these features switched on by default, like lane keeping aid, driver alert. So I don't think that's a Polestar choice. If you want to turn it off, you can, but you just have to do it every time you drive the car. So I hope this overview of the pilot assist, adaptive cruise control, and some of these safety features has been useful and informative. And thanks for watching. I'll be back again with another video very soon. Thank you.